Okay, so let's talk about adding mixed numbers with uncommon denominators. You're going to notice I have 3 problems on the board. Again, you don't have to divide your paper into 3 sections. We're going to do each problem individually. And you're probably going to notice that these problems are very similar to the ones we just did, except now they have a whole number in front of them. So for the first problem, same thing like we did before, go ahead and write that problem vertically instead of horizontally. Now, one of the things I like to show my students is just focus on the fractions. So I draw a line between the whole numbers and the fractions. Let's find a common denominator for 2/3 and 1/4. Well, we found that that was 12. So let's set both of those equal to 12. Because 4 times 3 is 12. Remember, if I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/4 is equal to 3/12. Let's do 2/3. 3 times 4 is 12. So if I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So 2 times 4 is 8. Now what I have is 2 and 8/12 plus 1 and 3/12. Well, 8/12 plus 3/12 is 11/12. And that was the answer we had before, except now I have to add the whole numbers. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So this becomes 3 and 11/12. Let's move on to number 2. 2 and 2/8, let's write this vertically, plus 1 and 1/2. If you like my trick of separating the whole numbers, go ahead and do that. Let's find a common denominator for 2/8 and 1/2. Well, we found last time that was 8, so let's set equivalent fractions equal to 8. So 2 times 4 is 8. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. 1 times 4 is 4. So 1/2 is equal to 4/8. 8 times 1 is 8. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So 2 times 1 is 2. So 2/8 is equal to 2/8. Let's add 2/8 and 4/8. Well, that's 6/8. Don't forget our whole numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. Do you remember what we said about 6/8? We have to simplify it. So we have to find a number that goes into 6 that also goes into 8. Well, I know those are both even numbers, so it's 2 3/4. So 3 and 3/4. Let's try the last one, which is the trickiest one. Let's set it vertically, 2 and 5/8 plus 1 and 1/2. I want to separate those whole numbers. Remember, you can multiply 8 times 2 to get 16, but we found that 8 is the least common multiple. 2 times 4 is 8. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So 1/2 is equal to 4/8. 8 times 1. So if I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. 5 times 1. So 5/8 plus 4/8. Remember, that's 9/8. A fraction greater than 1. Don't forget my wholes. 2 plus 1 is 3. So now I have 3 and 9/8. Do you remember what I did with this 9/8? I took out a whole. Remember the magic 1? And the whole was in 8s. So I'm taking out a whole. There's my magic 1. So 9/8 minus 8/8 is 1/8. But here's where that magic 1 really comes in handy. I'm going to take 3, add it to my whole. So 3 plus 1 is 4. And don't forget my 1/8. So this must be 4 and 1/8.